Once upon a time, there was a kind-hearted couple who lived in a forest full of greenery. Although this couple prayed for years, they could not have the child they wanted so much. However, their faith and love never diminished. Finally, one day, they had a beautiful baby girl, like a fairy. The baby girl had hair so beautiful and golden that the couple named her Rapunzel. Each strand of hair sparkled in the light of the sun, illuminating every corner of the forest with its beauty. One day, an evil witch fell in love with the magical power of Rapunzel's beautiful hair and kidnapped her. The witch wanted to take advantage of the power of Rapunzel's hair by imprisoning her in a large tower. The tower was surrounded by high walls and spikes and could only be climbed with the magical power of the witch. The tower was hidden in the farthest corner of the forest and surrounded by lush forest trees, thus keeping the witch's evil hidden from view. Rapunzel couldn't get out of the tower for years, but she never lost hope. Every day, he would look out the tower window and dream of the beauty of the forest and the freedom of the birds. Rapunzel was not alone. Animals and birds that frequently visited the tower would spend time with it. While the birds gave him joy and hope with their melodious songs, the squirrels would enter the tower with their laughter and play tricks on him. Thus, the hope and love in Rapunzel's heart would always remain alive through the creatures of the forest, giving her inner peace and strength. One day, Prince Liam, a brave young man, heard Rapunzel singing while wandering through the forest. By following Rapunzel's voice, he found the magical tower. The witch tried to scare him using her dark powers, but Prince Liam was ready to defeat the darkness with the love and determination within him. He proceeded regardless of the witch's threats and was ready for anything to save Rapunzel. With the determination in his eyes, combined with the love in his heart, no dark force could stop him. Rapunzel's golden fairy tale hair was so beautiful that it reached down from the tower. As he stayed in the tower for many years, his hair grew longer, flowing like a golden waterfall. Using these magnificent hairs, Prince Liam climbed the tower, and despite the witch's traps and obstacles, the brave prince fought back, supported by the love and strength in his heart. By fighting against the witch, he freed Rapunzel and saved her from the clutches of evil. Now, Rapunzel was enjoying the freedom she had dreamed of for a long time. He enjoyed wandering in the forest, singing with the birds, and exploring the beauties of nature. Prince Liam supported her at every moment, and they lived a life full of love and happiness at every moment. Prince Liam and Rapunzel returned to the kingdom and met with their people. Everyone celebrated Rapunzel's salvation and Prince Liam's bravery. The two lovers enlightened the kingdom with their love for each other. And so the story of the Tower of Golden Hair became a legend, celebrating the triumph of courage, love, and freedom. One day, a very surprised guest came to the kingdom of Arendelle from a different kingdom. That guest was Snow White. Elsa and Anna were very excited when Snow White arrived. They couldn't wait to meet him. When Snow White stepped into the kingdom, she was delighted by the warm welcome from Arendelle. She was amazed by Elsa's ice powers and touched by Anna's joy. The corridors of the palace were overflowing with the beauty and grace of Snow White. They got along very well with Snow White, Elsa and Anna. They ate meals together, played games, and sang songs. Elsa's strong and elegant stance increased Snow White's admiration for her. Snow White was impressed by Anna's joy and optimism. Elsa and Anna were also very impressed by Snow White's beauty and kindness. Snow White's pure and innocence-filled appearance touched their hearts. Her beauty and optimism brightened Elsa's and Anna's souls. When the three princesses came together, they appreciated each other's unique beauty and characteristics. As the darkness of night fell on Arendelle, an evil king quietly approached the city with his army to implement his insidious plans. However, Elsa, Anna, and Snow White were aware of the danger and banded together to protect their people and lead the defense of the kingdom. These three brave princesses, who meticulously examined the map and layout of the kingdom, began to make an urgent plan. Elsa's ice magic slowed the enemy army's advance, and Snow White's bravery boosted the morale of the people. Anna, on the other hand, developed plans to surprise the enemy with her strategic intelligence. With the start of the war, fighting broke out on the walls of Arendelle. Elsa pushed the enemy back by creating ice walls, while Anna and Snow White quickly and bravely fought against the enemy by joining the people to defend the castle. Later that night, fighting continued along the walls of Arendelle. However, the resistance led by Elsa, Anna, and Snow White managed to stop the evil king's army. Finally, with sunrise, the evil king's army was forced to retreat, and Arendelle was illuminated with the victory of the friends. After the war, the people of Arendelle, Elsa was filled with gratitude to Anna and Snow White. The courage and determination shown by the three princesses together showed the power of unity to protect the kingdom. Arendelle was liberated thanks to the friends' struggle together, and this victory would live forever in the heart of the kingdom. After the war, this adventure that Elsa, Anna, and Snow White experienced further strengthened the bonds between them. The three princesses did their best to strengthen the friendship between the kingdom of Arendelle and Snow White's own kingdom. The time Elsa, Anna, and Snow White spent together contributed to the strengthening and deepening of the friendship between their kingdoms. This allowed not only the three princesses, but also the kingdoms of Arendelle and Snow White to move forward into a stronger future together. This friendship, over time, formed the basis of peace and prosperity between the kingdoms and lasted forever. There was a fairy tale island in a distant land. The name of this island is the Island of Endless Children. Children living on this island with its mysterious forests, colourful flowers and magical atmosphere believed that they would resist the flow of time and remain children forever. The freest and most cheerful of them was Peter Pan. Peter Pan pursued adventures in every corner of the island and was known as an adventurer who flew quickly and fought heroically. He always wore his hat backwards, his green jacket, and never wanted to grow up. The Island of Eternal Children was known as a place where time stops and dreams come true. Peter Pan was the greatest dreamer in the heart of this fairy tale island. One day, while Peter Pan and his friends were swimming in the blue waters of the South Sea, they saw a ship. On board were the adventurous Wendy and her brothers John and Michael, who feature in children's favourite stories. Peter Pan and his friends boarded the ship, met their favourite characters and invited them to their island. Wendy and her siblings accepted this invitation, and the team, led by Peter Pan, headed towards the mysterious island of the Forever Children. On the way, they excited Wendy, John and Michael by telling them about the magical atmosphere and magnificent views of the island, accompanied by the lights playing on the waves. Wendy and her siblings were fascinated by the adventures told by Peter Pan and were eagerly awaiting the adventures that the island would give them. When Wendy, John and Michael stepped off the ship onto the island, they couldn't believe their eyes. Before them stood a paradise-like island where flying fish danced, talking animals chirped, and endless fun reigned. Peter Pan greeted them with enthusiasm and began to show them all the beauties of the island. While Peter Pan taught them the secrets of flying, Wendy and her siblings couldn't wait to discover the mysteries of the island. The brothers, who were amazed by what they saw, began to tour the island and explore this magnificent environment. While Peter Pan was taking Wendy and her friends around the island, an evil pirate ship was approaching the island of the Forever Children. The pirate ship, led by Captain Hook, had completed its preparations to disrupt the peace of the island and approached the shores of the island. Pirates suddenly attacked the island and did their best to take it. In Peter Pan, Wendy, John and Michael fought bravely to protect their friends. Sword sounds rising into the sky were piercing the peaceful silence of the island. The courage of the team, led by Peter Pan, ruined Captain Hook's plans. After a long and difficult fight, Captain Hook and his men were defeated and left the island, escaping to their ship. After this great adventure, Peter Pan, friends, Wendy and her siblings continued to live together on the island of the Forever Children. Now they had overcome the difficulties brought by the war together and had become closer to each other. Overflowing with the joy and freedom of living together on the island, the children were pursuing new adventures every day. The time they spent on this island gave their souls a sense of freedom and pushed their imagination beyond its limits. They were experiencing a new adventure every day, collecting unforgettable memories and dancing freely in the magical world of the island. Wendy and her siblings decided to settle on the island of Forever Children and live on this beautiful island. Wendy and her siblings would go on much more wonderful adventures with Peter Pan and their other friends. In Radiator town, the legendary name of racing cars, Lightning McQueen was having another ordinary day. While wandering around the colourful streets of the town, he was always excited by the liveliness and activity around him. But today, he was a little bored. Instead of moving quickly on the tracks, this time he preferred to stroll slowly through the streets. He wanted to spend some time and quietly absorb the atmosphere of the town. Along the way, he met old friends, stopped at the town's famous cafes, and chatted with local shopkeepers. Maybe this quiet day would open the door to a new adventure for him. With these thoughts, Lightning McQueen decided to go to the town library and spend some time in this beautiful place of silence and knowledge. While browsing through the shelves, a book caught his eye. The cover of the book read, "Legendary Race Cars of Radiator Town." It was a book about the best race cars the town ever had. The book immediately attracted Lightning McQueen's attention, and he took the book and began to carefully turn its pages. Each page told the story of legendary racing cars that left an important mark on the town's history. Lightning McQueen witnessed with admiration the achievements, adventures, and difficulties of the great masters of the past. The one that caught his attention the most was Starlink, a dark, grey, old classic vehicle. As he read about Starlink's life and achievements, Lightning McQueen's admiration for him increased, and he was filled with the desire to meet him. In the book, it was stated that Starlink was in one of the old garages in the town, but it was not clearly written which garage it was. Lightning McQueen and his friends began wandering the streets of the town, visiting old garages one by one, each of which had been worn out and forgotten over time. These garages bore the marks of time and were filled with memories of the town's old days. Lightning McQueen told his friends that they were determined to find Starlink, and they set out to search with them. Every time the garage door opened, they waited with curiosity to see what they would find inside. These garages bear traces of the Radiator town from time travel and hold memories of the town's old days. As they wandered among moss-covered walls, rusted vehicle parts and dusty items, the smell of the past filled their noses with the nostalgic atmosphere of the city. While they were taking every step with excitement, they were meticulously looking into every corner of the garage, hopefully believing that they would find Starlink. And finally, they came to the garage where Starlink was and found Starlink. Starlink was a famous car that used to win races, but now it was forgotten and sitting dusty in the garage. When Lightning McQueen and his friends found this forgotten treasure inside the garage, their excitement was at its peak, and they were determined to do their best to restore Starlink to its former glory. Starlink was sad and tired after being left alone in the garage for years. Lightning McQueen offered his friendship, admiration, and support to Starlink, and instilled in him the belief that he could compete in the town again and return to the old days. The garage had now become a symbol of friendship and solidarity instead of loneliness. Lightning McQueen offered Starlink a friendly race. After thinking for a while, Starlink welcomed this offer. This friendly race between them has become an event that Radiator Town is eagerly awaiting. While the town residents were eagerly waiting for the race, the racers were completing their preparations meticulously. When race day came, Radiator Town took on a festival atmosphere. While the streets were filled with the engine sounds of racing cars, the spectators took their places in the stands. Lightning McQueen, Starlink, and other racers took their places on the racetrack for the start of the eagerly awaited race. When the race started, the streets of the town erupted into excitement, ringing with the speed and rivalry of the racing cars. While the noise of the engines created an adrenaline-filled atmosphere, the audience also shared the excitement of the race. Every corner and every straight became a stage where racers demonstrated their mastery. Lightning McQueen, Starlink, and other racers did their best to perform as the best racers in the town. Lightning McQueen and Starlink were at the forefront from the beginning of the race. They progressed by challenging each other at every bend and every straight. But the race wasn't just about speed. It was also filled with friendship and solidarity. Throughout the race, the vehicles supported each other and also enjoyed the competition. They tested their speed and skills by competing respectfully against each other. As the final bend was approached, Lightning and Starlink were still moving very close to each other. The crowd was watching the race with bated breath. The excitement of the race was at its peak as both cars rounded the last corner and accelerated towards the finish line. The audience's hearts were beating rapidly. They could not take their eyes off the magnificent performance of the vehicles for a moment. Finally, Lightning and Starlink crossed the finish line together, hand in hand. This unique moment was welcomed with enthusiasm by the townspeople. The crowd celebrated the end of the race with applause and screams of joy from the stands. Lightning McQueen, Starlink, and their friends celebrated their victory together, smiling and hugging each other with joy. The race reminded everyone of the power of friendship and solidarity. It was emphasized that the winner is not just a car, but friendship and unity. Following this special moment, a celebration was held in Town Square. Lightning, Sally, Starlink, and Marta came together after the race and celebrated with the townspeople. The townspeople participated in this celebration with enthusiasm, dancing together, laughing, having fun, and celebrating their friendship. This unforgettable day was written in golden letters in the history of the town, and the race of Lightning McQueen and his friends will always live as a source of inspiration in the heart of the town. Once upon a time, there lived an energetic young girl named Jasmine in the bustling city of Agrabah. She was the beloved princess of the kingdom. She was known for her kindness and curiosity to explore. She had a spirit that yearned to explore the world without getting bored even within the palace walls. She had long dreams and lived with the dream of going to different lands and embarking on different adventures. For him, life was an adventure full of exploring, learning, and sharing. On a sunny morning in Agrabah, Jasmine woke up with a twinkle in her eye and a feeling of excitement in her heart. With the first light of the day, the fire of travel within him flared up even more. Determined to make her dreams come true, Jasmine sneaked out of the palace disguised as a commoner. She was no longer just a princess, but a traveler seeking adventure among the streets. As he walked through the streets of the city, the excitement in his heart increased a little more. With each step, the lure of the unknown took him further. While he lost himself in the crowd of the bazaar, People's smiling faces made him happy. While Jasmine was chatting with the shopkeepers, she was also fascinated by various smells and sounds. With every step he took in the market, his curiosity grew stronger, and he found himself attracted by a mysterious old lamp displayed in a dusty corner of a merchant's shop. The lamp had a different aura and appeal. He picked up the lamp to take a closer look at it and rubbed his hand on the lamp to remove the dust from it. With a slight friction, a cloud of smoke rose from the labma and a magical genie appeared, which amazed him. With a mischievous smile, the genie granted Jasmine 3 wishes and promised to do whatever she wished for. After Jasmine got over the shock of what happened and talked to Sin for a while, she said her first wish. She wanted to explore different places, distant lands from Agrabah. When she closed her eyes, she felt like she was being dragged into a fairy tale adventure. Suddenly, she found herself floating among the clouds on a magnificent carpet, feeling the light touch of the wind on her face. When he opened his eyes, he couldn't help but admire the view around him. While crossing endless oceans, she became intertwined with the endless blue of the sea. While passing through the lush forests, she was in harmony with the rhythm of the heart of nature and looked in admiration at the waterfalls flowing from high above. While Jasmine was experiencing the excitement of a new discovery every moment, the desire within her was growing even more. As her second wish, Jasmine wanted to experience the happiness of making friends with people from different cultures and backgrounds. She wanted to meet new people, full of warmth and curiosity in her heart. After this request, the genie dragged him on a new journey. Jasmine suddenly found herself in a colorful and lively marketplace. There was a world around him, full of people, each telling their own story. She danced to the rhythm of street performers and was fascinated by the stories told by wise old people. She made friends with people of different languages and different traditions. Through this experience, she realized how important it is to respect people's cultures and celebrate the power of differences. Each new friendship opened the door to a different world for him. This was a source of endless happiness for him. After her adventures, Jasmine said her last wish to the genie as the sun was about to set. He wanted to be equipped with the wisdom to rule his kingdom with compassion and understanding. The genie granted her wish with a kind smile, and Jasmine returned to the palace with her heart filled with newfound wisdom and gratitude. He now felt that he could serve his people better with the deep peace and understanding he carried within himself. She, who would assume the responsibility of her kingdom with greater maturity, would be a leader who was more sensitive to the needs of her people. When he returned to the palace, the sparkle in his eyes and the calm smile on his face were signs of his inner transformation. Now she was taking a stronger and wiser step with every step she took. As a princess who had gained the trust and love of her people, she was moving forward with a more hopeful outlook on the future of her kingdom. Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, there was a very beautiful and kind-hearted young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella lived in a small cottage with her evil stepmother and stepsisters. Her stepmother and siblings treated Cinderella badly and treated her as their servant and made her do all their work. Despite the difficult living conditions, Cinderella's heart of beauty and kindness never faded. He would wake up early in the morning every day and rush to finish his household chores. Despite the bad behavior of his stepmother and stepsisters, the hope and love within him never diminished. One day, an invitation came from the royal palace, announcing that a grand ball would be held in the prince's honor, but Cinderella's stepmother forbade her from attending. Although Cinderella burst into tears and despaired of this obstacle, a ray of hope still shone in her inner world. The day of the ball came. The stepmother and siblings got ready and set out for the palace. While Cinderella was sitting at home sadly after their departure, the fairy godmother suddenly appeared and presented her with a magnificent dress, glass and crystal shoes, and a magical carriage. Cinderella was surprised and very happy by what happened. She put on the dress and shoes her fairy mother brought, got ready, and got into her car, waiting outside to go to the palace. The fairy godmother had specifically warned Cinderella about one thing. She had to leave the palace before midnight and return to her cottage. The ball in the palace had begun, and the guests, including Cinderella, had taken their seats. But one person caught everyone's attention, and that was Cinderella. Cinderella's presence resembled a rose garden in the elegant atmosphere of the palace, and she attracted everyone's attention with her elegance and beauty. Even the prince was enthralled by Cinderella's presence. The prince and Cinderella met, lost track of time, got lost in each other's arms, and danced until the late hours of the night. But when the clock struck midnight, Cinderella remembered the fairy godmother's warning and decided to leave the palace in a hurry. As she walked up the steps of the palace, Cinderella, stepping in the dark, slipped and left a glass slipper behind, returning to her cottage. The next day, the prince set out to find the beautiful and mysterious girl. Using only the glass shoe as his only clue, he travelled throughout the kingdom and began searching for his true love. While knocking on the door of every house, he had hope and excitement in his heart, but he could not find the owner of the shoe. When the prince and his soldiers arrived at Cinderella's cottage, her stepsisters tried desperately to try on the glass shoe, but it did not fit any of their feet. When it was finally Cinderella's turn, the shoe fit perfectly. This moment was the moment when the prince found the true owner of his love, which he had been searching for a long time. His eyes caught the sparkle on Cinderella's face, and he felt that he was in front of the one who would fill the void in his heart. The prince realized that the beautiful and mysterious girl at the ball was Cinderella. This was the triumph of true love and the beginning of happiness. Overjoyed, the prince took Cinderella in his arms and declared her his princess. Cinderella had a smile full of love on her face because she left all the difficulties she experienced behind and now became the princess of the kingdom. Cinderella and the prince began a new chapter of their lives, opening the doors to a loving future together. This new beginning heralded the days full of happiness, love, and adventure they would share together. The difficulties they had experienced in the past were now behind them, and there were good days ahead of them to explore together. The streets of his peaceful town in Toy World were filled with an atmosphere of joy and adventure. The most beloved heroes, the fearless astronaut Buzz Lightyear and the fair Sheriff Woody, were living a peaceful life with their friends in the town, as always. The town was held together like a family by the unity and solidarity led by these two brave heroes. This colorful toy community, ready for a new adventure every day, believed that they could overcome any difficulty with the power of their friendship. One day, the town was shaken by the sudden news. A mysterious stranger came to town with malicious toys and started to disturb the peace of this beautiful town. This group was trying to take control of the town and was bullying innocent toys. The mysterious stranger and his malicious friends turned the peaceful life of the town upside down. Faced with a threat they had never seen before, the townspeople did not know what to do. The town's beloved heroes, Buzz Lightyear and Sheriff Woody, came together and started making an urgent plan. These two brave friends, who meticulously studied the map and layout of their town, were doing everything they could to identify the weak points of their enemies and develop a strategy for the defense of the town. Creating their tactics to meet their enemies quickly and effectively, Buzz and Woody were determined to take every step to ensure the safety of the town. Buzz Lightyear and Sheriff Woody prepared a powerful plan to protect their town and teamed up with their toy friends to bravely confront their enemies. Filled with courage and determination, they fought together to ensure the peace of their town. While the two heroes fought against their enemies by applying their strategies, other toys also sided with their heroes. After a fierce battle, the evil toys were defeated, thanks to Sheriff Woody's brave leadership and Buzz Lightyear's clever tactics. The town was saved by the brave struggle of the heroes and found peace again. The townspeople welcomed Woody and Buzz Lightyear with great enthusiasm. These two brave heroes were now considered the apple of the eye of Toy World. The townspeople appreciated and remembered their courage and leadership with gratitude. Woody and Buzz proudly accepted this warm welcome, expressing that they were always ready to come together with the townspeople for future adventures, and continued their lives with their toy friends, filled with the power of unity and solidarity. Among the rugged hills and lush forests, in a fairy tale kingdom, there lived a beautiful princess. Her name was Snow White. Snow White was the light of the kingdom. He was known for his skin like snow and his heart as pure as crystal. He was loved by everyone around him for his kindness and adventurous spirit. One sunny day, Snow White decided to explore the magical forest surrounding her kingdom. This would be both a discovery and an adventure for him. Snow White went on a journey full of excitement and curiosity with her loyal animal friends. As Snow White moved deeper into the forest, the soft wind passed through the branches and caressed her hair, giving a slight feeling of coolness. As he walked, a vibrant riot of colours appeared around him. Colourful butterflies were dancing and flying over the flowers, creating a magical atmosphere with their graceful figures curling in the air. Snow White was fascinated by these beauties around her. A sincere smile appeared on her face, and she started dancing joyfully, her heart full of happiness. Snow White's adventure began when she encountered a group of mischievous elves who were playing pranks on the creatures living in the forest. With a twinkle in their eyes and a smile on their lips, the elves invited Snow White to join them in their fun. Together, they embarked on a series of joyful adventures, from playing hide-and-seek among ancient trees to splashing around in crystal-clear streams. Along the way, they also met friendly forest creatures who joined them on their merry journey. Each of them were creatures of the forest that reflected their natural beauty and joy. Snow White enjoyed meeting them and exploring their unique world. The sun cast a golden glow over the forest, signaling the end of the day. Snow White and her friends gathered around a crackling bonfire to celebrate the day's adventures and share their time together. As the flames danced, they roasted and ate marshmallows and told stories to each other. Snow White and her new friends promised to meet for the coming days. Snow White left her newfound friends with a loving farewell and headed to the palace. His steps were filled with memories of his magical adventure in the forest. The experiences he had in the forest left deep scars on his heart. As night slowly fell and the stars twinkled in the sky, Snow White lay down on her bed. As his eyes closed, he thought that more adventures awaited him in the magical world beyond the castle walls. This thought, full of unknowns in the future, increased his excitement even more. Before falling asleep, he was thinking about the surprises that tomorrow would bring, and his heart was overflowing with passion for adventure. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled amidst rolling hills and emerald forests, there lived a young princess named Merida. With her fiery red hair, Merida was no ordinary princess. Unlike the others, Merida longed for adventure. Merida wanted to master archery and ride like the wind. She was striving for this. She was bored with traditional princess roles, and her free spirit was filled with a desire to go beyond boundaries. One day, it was announced that a big archery competition would be held in the kingdom. Not only princes and high-ranking officials, but everyone in the kingdom could participate in this competition. This news made Merida very excited, because he wanted to participate in the competition very much. Since the previous competitions were held exclusively for princes, he could not participate in the competitions, and this made him sad. For Merida, who was determined to prove her skills and chart her own path, this competition would not only be a competition, but also an opportunity to prove herself. When the day of the competition came, Merida's heart began to beat with excitement. With every arrow he shot, his victory was getting closer, and his soul was filled with enthusiasm. Her fiery hair, shining in the sunlight, symbolized her courage and determination. Everyone saw for the first time that the princess had the skill of shooting arrows and was very surprised. Merida shot the best among the warriors, youths, and princes in the kingdom and was chosen as the winner of the archery competition. Everyone in the kingdom was cheering for Merida and applauding her enthusiastically, but Merida's victory was overshadowed by her mother, Queen Eleanor. Ignoring the competition rules, Queen Eleanor cancelled the competition and denied her daughter the title, claiming that princesses could not participate in the competition. Disappointed and saddened by her mother's decision, Merida, with her mixed feelings, set off silently into the depths of the forest with her faithful horse. She felt her heart beating rapidly with every step, and she was following a fairy tale light that appeared under the shining sunlight. Merida followed this light and encountered an old woman in the middle of a mysterious land. The wise woman revealed to Merida the great dangers and deep secrets in the kingdom. Among these secrets were the malicious spell cast on his mother, Queen Eleanor, and the truth behind the cancellation of the pageant's first place. The real reason for her mother's decision was the effects of this cursed spell. Determined to break the curse and save her mother, Merida embarked on a dangerous quest, guided by the old woman's cryptic words. Along the way, he encountered mystical creatures, dangerous situations, and his courage was tested at every turn. After days of relentless pursuit, Merida had finally found the source of the magic hidden among the ruins of an ancient castle. However, in order to break this spell, he had to successfully pass a dangerous test. Despite everything that frightened her, Merida was ready to fight until the end to save her mother. As a result of long efforts and difficult exams, Merida broke the cursed spell, and a wave of light spread over the country. This spell that dominated the country and Queen Eleanor's thoughts was lifted. Merida returned to the palace after difficult adventures. Tears of joy flowed down Queen Eleanor's face as she embraced her daughter Merida. The bond between them was stronger than ever. From that day, Eleanor reigned with wisdom and compassion. The legend of Merida, the princess who defied tradition and discovered the true meaning of courage, has echoed throughout the kingdom through the ages. Now the kingdom was at peace, thanks to Merida's courage and determination, and smiles appeared on everyone's face. Once upon a time, on the coast of the Northern Sea, there was a kingdom called Arundel. This kingdom was located in a cold land surrounded by snowy mountains and icy lakes. In this fairy tale world of the kingdom of Arundel, there were two princesses named Anna and Elsa. These two brothers were closely tied to each other. Anna had a deep admiration for her sister Elsa's magical power and was fascinated by what Elsa could do with her power. On the other hand, Elsa also loved Anna's cheerful and energetic personality. This warm relationship between the brothers made the kingdom a strong and happy country. On a winter day, silently asleep under the white cover of nature, sisters Anna and Elsa were playing cheerfully in the garden. However, suddenly, Elsa's magical powers went out of control, and a blanket of ice suddenly spread around, freezing everything. Elsa was stunned by this sudden and unexpected event. With fear rising within her, she realized the potential danger of her uncontrolled power. She was horrified by what she saw and didn't know what to do. Afraid of harming Anna, her loved ones, and the kingdom of Arundel, Elsa made a sudden decision while struggling with the turmoil within her and decided to jump on her horse's back and ride away. Deciding to get away from this dangerous situation where she could not control herself and her magical powers, Elsa set out towards the northern mountains with her horse. Anna was deeply shaken by what happened and her sister's sudden departure, but she did not give up. She determinedly decided to embark on an adventure to bring back Elsa and save the kingdom. Despite every difficulty he encountered on the way, the fire of courage and optimism within him never went out. Along the way, she unexpectedly encountered an ice salesman named Kristoff. After Kristoff learned of Anna's goal, he volunteered to help her. Together, they set out determinedly to find Elsa and bring back happy times to the kingdom. Because Elsa had a great fear that her uncontrolled magical powers would harm others, she built an ice palace at the top of the northern mountains and began to live an isolated life there. However, Anna and Kristoff finally managed to find Elsa and the magnificent palace she built. Anna bravely stepped into the palace, met Elsa, and addressed her with sincere words from the bottom of her heart. She had an emotional conversation with him, convincing him to return to the kingdom of Arundel. Elsa was moved by Anna's loving words and was convinced to return to Arundel and live a happy life with her loved ones. Anna's love played an important role in controlling the magical powers within Elsa. Thanks to this loving support, Elsa began to understand and learn to control her own power. When she returned to her kingdom, she was now able to use her power expertly. Working together, Anna and Elsa rebuild the kingdom, support each other, and overcome every challenge. The people of Arundel admired the courage and loving hearts of the two princesses. Seeing the work and sacrifices Anna and Elsa made together, the people welcomed them with great respect, and Arundel became a loving kingdom again.